What's going on there, folks? Good morning, good afternoon. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Thursday, almost Friday. It is May 11th, 2023, about 12:12 p.m. here in the state of California. It looks like the latest earthquake shows a 1.4 into the area of California as we speak. Looking at the map down here, we are seeing a little bit of microquake activity kicking up here. This time, compared to yesterday, on the Elsinore Fault, which sits just to the west here of the lengthy San Jacinto Fault Zone. And of course, we got the plate boundary here. Not showing too much activity on the San Andreas Fault for now. Most of the activity west here of that area on the Pacific side of this plate boundary. So slight uptick there in southern Cal. Further up north into the Bay Area, mostly smaller microquake movement across the majority of the Bay today. Further up north, of course, we've got the Calpine hydrothermal operations in full swing here around Clear Lake, Northern California. Looks like just after midnight we had a 2.9 and a 2.0 upstream here of the tremor that's associated with the Cascadia subduction zone, about 17 to 20 kilometers here into the southern section of the mega thrust area. Yesterday we did have a little bit of movement here off the coast of Oregon at 3.1. We'll see what the tremor activity looks like later tonight. I have a feeling it's going to be amping up slightly down at the southern end due to that activity. All right, doesn't look like too much activity across Yellowstone, but let's go ahead and check out Yellowstone real quick. We'll get back to space weather here in a few minutes. Looks like a couple earthquakes being reported here on the northwest corner of the Yellowstone area. It did show up across the Holmes Hill station. These are going to be the earthquakes in the mention there. And it doesn't look like anything too big. A couple smaller quakes so far this morning. 1.9, the largest, and a little movement there across Yellowstone. All right, let's see what else we got here across the region of Texas and Oklahoma. Looks like the last one was a 2.3 near Davis, Oklahoma, north of Ardmore, near the Arbuckle Mountains. I think I just went through there a couple days ago. Kind of still very nice and green out there, and they got more rain coming. The New Madrid seismic zone got a 1.7. That was coming in last night, it looks like. The rest of the eastern portion of the country all quiet. One earthquake here in the last hour near the Venezuela area. Looks like that is on shore here near the mountain range here. Looks like there's some what is that, Serenia? I'm not for sure how to pronounce that correctly, but that's where that earthquake is striking this morning. 20 kilometers deep. Looks like maybe some type of subduction zone set up here potentially. 49 kilometers deep there. All right. Oh no, 20 kilometers deep, excuse me, for a 4.9. South America region got 4.2 coming in just after 2 o'clock in the morning. This one fairly deep here into the Peru-Chile Trench. It looks like 118 kilometers deep up against the mountain range there. Alrighty, big island of Hawaii. Got this has been an ongoing thing here. Just little earthquake swarms across Kilauea Volcano. No major changes noted there. Just an ongoing event, it looks like. Up into Alaska, about the same as yesterday. No major movement. Over here in the northern end of the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, this activity from this morning, it looks like. 5.0 and a 4.7, so slight uptick here in the northern end of that trench. And movement here across the Japan area. A lot of that from yesterday, but we did see some further quake activity, including almost a 6.0, 5.9 there. Into the Japan region, just east here of Taiwan. That earthquake occurring about 24 kilometers deep here at the northern, looks like about the northwestern section here of the off the Philippine plate. Let's see what we got up north here. Looks like a couple smaller quakes there from yesterday. Around the Java Trench, we have been watching a little bit of further movement upstream here, up the trench area, 4.9, 34 kilometers deep. That was, looks like this morning time frame. Of course, all this activity comes after the Large earthquake yesterday, the 7.6 in the Tonga region. Looks like we are starting to see a little advancement of pressure and migration here across areas well west of the Pacific plate boundary. 5.0 coming into the China region. That not showing up on the USGS map. Let me double check, make sure we have the recent imagery, which we do. So that's a fairly new earthquake. 5.0 coming in. Down around the Australia area, looks like there was a 2.5 being reported here on the EMSC globe. Also some further deep movement here along the Kermadec Trench. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Of course, not showing up here across the USGS map, but there is some activity showing up here. It looks like north of the North Island area. Pretty deep earthquake here in this region, 371 kilometers deep. We'll continue to watch this area because of that fairly large earthquake up here yesterday in the Tonga region. All right, let's see what else we have here. One earthquake out in the Mediterranean, central Mediterranean Sea. It looks like yesterday, 4.3. Far as earthquake activity this morning in that region, looks like, for the most part, small microquake activity through Turkey and areas, looks like just off the coast here, Morocco. A couple smaller quakes here. Atlantic Ocean, one earthquake here into the, looks like the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. 4.6, that is from this morning, so little uptick, I guess. It's been awfully quiet here across this region recently, but looks like that's changing. We'll see if that continues. Puerto Rico area, I know we kind of missed this just a few minutes ago, but we are getting a little swarm here around the Mona Seamount and the Puerto Rico Trench area in general, showing uptick overnight. Looks like we did see a 4.3 in this little cluster of earthquakes up here around that seamount. And here we got a little earthquake here off the Central America region, 4.2. That one coming in just about 1 o'clock in the morning near the Cocos Ridge. Let's glance at GeoNet here real quick and see if anything's being reported here. Mostly twos from the last 24 hours, it looks like. There's a 3.6. That's going to be the one, somewhat of the deeper one, I believe, up along the Kermadec Trench, 367 kilometers deep. Looks like mostly smaller microquake activity today. Glance at the earthquake drums here. And I'm not seeing any wide-scale large events at all. Actually, it looks very quiet here across the region of New Zealand today. All right, let me see what else we have here. Anything else going on across the area? I think that's about it. Space weather activity. Let's jump into that real quick and see what we got going on. It has been elevated here recently. It looks like we're just coming down from a M flare right now. Looking at the solar flare chart, shows that M flare peaking out here about 1.8 or so. We have seen numerous M flares over the past couple days. Looks like that's continuing. As far as the arrival of a CME or the elevated space weather conditions, I have yet to see it. I don't see any signs on the KP index chart or on the aurora forecast, but it is predicted, or forecasted I should say, to impact this region depending on when it gets here. It might be right now, or it could be here later tonight. But they're saying Thursday, May 11th, but looking at the detailed forecast here, the UTC time would be May 11th between 12 and the 1800 time frame, but we're already past that. We're at 1922 right now on the 11th, so we're here in a couple hours going to be into the 12th already. So it looks like it's arriving late or potentially missed us in general. But either way, we'll keep an eye on this potential activity later tonight. They are calling for maybe a G3 class storm, so that's fairly strong, which could send auroras down into Oregon, Illinois, Pennsylvania area. All right, see what we have for our sunspots this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. Well, let me see exactly where the M flare is popping off from. Most of the time you can see it on this UV filter, although, oh, there we go. It's going to be this one right here. So south, a little southern sunspot region. Looks like 3294. It's going to be this regional sunspot right here. A little bit of a complex structure within that sunspot. These areas up north still have a potential of producing some large M flares as well. And potentially this new sunspot and the larger group behind it all pose a risk of some solar flaring as well. The threat right now looks like 99% chance for a C flare, M flare at 55, X flare at 20, and the proton event de-elevated to about 70, but there's still a potential for that as well. Let's see what we got here for the real-time solar wind stream. Looks like, well, fairly stable. This here was yesterday. Notice the speed here kicking up above 600 kms. It is down right now, along with the density, and the BT-BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field is stable. These lines sometimes separate, indicating either a north or southward tilt of the solar wind, but right now these are very close together, indicating stability. So I see no signs of a CME that we're expecting. So I believe it's late. Not even a glancing blow from this expected CME. So hopefully it holds off until it's dark. Then we'll be able to see it later tonight here on the on this side of the world, where it's currently sunny. It's supposed to be about 85 degrees here today, California. See what we got for weather. I know Oklahoma's in the line of fire today, along with a good portion of Kansas. Looks like tornado potential out there, 10%. That includes a 10% hatched area, which means a 10% or greater probability of an EF2 to an EF5, which is the strongest tornado on that scale, within 25 miles of a point. So heads up, Oklahoma City, Norman, Edmond, Midwest City, and more Oklahoma. And that extends, it looks like, in the Enid area and in the portions of Kansas. But either way, you don't have to be within this hatched area or the 10% to see a tornado today. Just the likelihood, the dynamics, the setup is greater in this area, according to the Storm Prediction Center. So heads up, that's kind of a fairly large threat. Wind event and hail event as well. Looks like 30% probability in those areas around Oklahoma that we just mentioned, although extending up around Wichita, Kansas, and that area as well. So stay safe out there, folks. Pretty sketchy afternoon, I would say. Definitely got to make sure you're weather prepared. Let's see what we have for the look at that beautiful low pressure system offshore here, spinning off the coast. Let's go over here to radar and satellite. Kind of want to see what's going on out here in Oklahoma currently as we speak. It's getting ready. It's getting set up here. Notice this got a low, looks like a trough over here spinning, pulling up all that Gulf moisture, convection kicking in from the heating. And looks like Dodge City southward here, getting a little bit of activity. Of course, a bunch up north, but this is our more severe weather area. A lot of heating and moisture to work with here across portions of Oklahoma, and the dynamic of this setup here would cause some rotating storms, which could be a obviously a tornado maker. So looks like it's getting ready to gear up here across Oklahoma right now and Kansas. So be on guard. Quite a bit of lightning sparking up there as well. But now's the time to be prepared. Make sure you have a plan in terms of get into safety if you need to. Make sure you put your cars underneath the carport there. I know I noticed that when I was out in Oklahoma and Texas here the past week. Almost everyone has either a portable or a durable type outdoor awning that you can park under. It's definitely a must out there when it comes to the hail. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off here. Hope everyone has a great day. We will be back a little bit later tonight. I got a lot of yard work I got to get done before we get into the 90s here. I think tomorrow we're going to start getting into the 90s. So have a good one. We'll catch you guys back here a little bit later tonight. Take care.